Tout le monde, c'est Game, on se retrouve dans le C4 de Stanley. J'étais en train de faire le trophée 415, mais là, bon, le trophée 415. Trophée.
Now, back to door number 437.
Oh là là, il me casse les couilles. Mais là, il y a du nouveau contenu, là. 437, c'est ça? J'ai pas vu. En tout cas, je veux le trophée, là.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Elle est où? Elle est où la photocopieuse? Là?
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
417.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Tu sais, sur l'employé du bureau de 419. Ça.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go
Je
give me
vais
a
le
few
frapper.
clicks on door
Allez me
416.
placer quelques clics sur la poste 416. Il est où la porte 416? Elle est où la porte 416? Ah, une photocopie, ça va, ils ont déplacé juste la porte. J'ai peur. Je me suis dit, c'est bon, j'ai perdu, je dois relancer le jeu parce que la porte elle est plus là. Mais ils ont juste déplacé la porte, donc ça va. Allez.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5
Oui.
clicks on door 430.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes!
What?
We did it!
Ouais.
Oh, wow.
J'ai le trophée, les gars.
That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm
Merci,
very
mec.
proud of how far we've come
Merci.
today.
Là, c'est ça. Bon, maintenant, je vais aller sur New Content. Allez. Oh non, me dis pas que tu veux dire New Contenu, genre. Parce que. Ah oui, parce que ça ressemble de lui, ce qu'on a.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Ouais.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe
Ah
content.
putain, non. Du coup, c'est. Ah, du coup, c'est un gentil. Oh.
Okay, so far it's an
Ça va être un gentil.
Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Oui. J'aimerais bien ça.
Is it
What?
broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see it.
C'est pour ce.
The jump circle.
Ouais. Oui. Oui, je veux ça. Enfin. On va sauter en deux. Yes, enfin. Attends, le nouveau contenu, c'est des trucs de base normales? On me dit pas ça. Je sais pas. Bon,
Is Is that it?
Ouais,
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
bah, j'espère.
Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Ah, il a relancé automatique. Oh! Ok! Ça commence. Je vais le continuer. Un nouveau bureau.
Psst! Stanley!
Je reviens avec Aïe, on va aller. On va continuer du coup. Je suis en haut, mais c'est pour la suite.
Stanley!
Oui.
Come over here!
Attends. Attends. Pourquoi je n'ai plus les sous-titres, les gars? Oh, les gars! Eh oui, sinon je prends rien, les gars.
The vent! I want to show you something!
Ah! Bah, super.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
What the
Just
fuck?
our little secret. Take a look.
Cool.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Ah, d'accord.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was
Skyrim.
Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Putain, truc.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Il faut que j'aille.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's one. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as all? Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret.
Il a parlé, putain, il a parlé pendant au moins 5 minutes, mais je comprends pas là, du coup, vu que je l'ai écouté, il n'y a rien qui change. Faut quand même j'appuie. Oh, ça sert à rien alors. Wesh, je parle même plus. Wesh. Wesh. Qu'est-ce?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little...
Oh, shit. Wesh. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? C'est grave ou quoi? Wesh. Il va devenir comme GLaDOS. Sans ma vie. Il va vouloir me tuer. Ah ouais, autant. Le temps. Ah oui. Ah non, non. Oui. Plus rien. Oh, on est sous terre, je crois. Ouais. Mais je comprends pas. Et quoi, ça fait peur. Oh. Oh. Est-ce que je peux skip encore? Oh shit. What the hell? Il y a des traces. Oui. Hein?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vas-y, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Est-ce que c'est tout à fait normal?
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Mais je l'ai fait ça. Hein? Quoi? Je comprends pas. Ok. Il a fait skipper tout l'intro.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be.
Ça, tu l'avais
The
dit.
original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable
Mais non.
2.
Genre la vie de ta mère. Mais non.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel, an entirely new experience.
Attends, me dis pas que le DLC c'est juste pour nous, c'est le 2. On s'en fout, mais c'est trop bien. Ouais.
This is what fans have truly been asking for.
J'espère que c'est pas un troll. Hein. J'espère que c'est pas un troll. Ah ouais, parce que vraiment c'est trop bien.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Ça c'est les différents logos.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Ok. Mais non, il est le bouton. Bienvenue au Living Game. Vas-y. C'est bon.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people.
Vas-y, dis-moi.
So with that in mind, sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to...
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Je l'ai vexé.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
C'est gratuit, vas-y, oui.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Méchant. Je veux le trophée.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Ouais.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
On n'a rien à foutre de me sortir. C'est nul, là.
Oh, goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the bucket. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the bucket, okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now. You're just going to ignore my advice? Fine. No fun new content for you, then. You're the one who spent money on this game. So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
No,
yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Tu vois, là, on voit bien qu'il se donne du mal. Ça,
Are
tu
you
trouves
ready?
de bien. Parce qu'il a vu que il se concentre que sur les commentaires négatifs. Alors, pas du tout. Il faut écouter aussi les commentaires positifs. Tu vois? Je pense que ça va être ça.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
On va voir. Ah, non.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Hein? Oh.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Ah, mais du coup, c'est...
Stanley worked.
Ouais, c'est particulier. Hein? Ah non, on va aller...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
on va aller
mean? Stanley decided to go to the
continue
meeting room.
spectre.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Attends. Rassure-moi, il est pas fini le DLC là. Non mec, rassure-moi s'il te plaît. C'est quoi ce DLC là? Fais peur là, ça permet de me
Stanley,
reconforter.
here's an idea that I'm
C'est
truly
ça.
fond of.
Et là,
It's
je vais
never been
dans un
done
trou sans
before in a
fond.
video game. This is in
Je sais
fact
pas qu'est-ce qu'il va
a
avoir,
hole
mais
that you
j'espère
can
qu'il y aura un
fall
truc.
down
Hein.
forever. That's
Parce
right.
que là, je regardais sur
Infinite
YouTube et je vais voir
You can
s'il y a
fall
quoi dans
until
dans
the
le
end
DLC.
of time if
Il y a un
you like.
chemin
A
secret ou un truc
stunning
du
leap
genre.
forward for video games as a medium. You
Ne dis
see,
pas que
isn't
je
it
dois relancer le jeu
wonderful?
après ça. Hein.
One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do
Oh.
say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great! Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole.
Ah, ok,
Did
voilà.
you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I've prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to
Ah
hit
d'accord,
the
c'est même pas
bottom.
un trou sans
Yes, I
fond.
know. I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Reste ici. Allez, j'y vais. Non, j'ai pas envie de retomber. Ok, c'est vraiment éclaté. C'est éclaté, man. Je comprends pas ton délire, mais bon. Ah, mais il y a des portes ouvertes en haut. Voilà, en fait, il fallait que je regarde tout ce qu'il y avait dans la salle, et là, j'ai lancé une game.
No,
Et il y a
stop.
le saut qui
Look
spawn.
there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley,
J'ai pas
how
vu.
could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that
Et
you
du coup, en fait,
actually
je
don't
me
know
suis
what
renseigné,
is a
c'est qu'en fait,
bucket
c'est
and
après
what
avoir
isn't
fait
a bucket?
l'extension, genre
I
avoir vu
suppose
tout
that
le
would
musée et
explain a
tout,
lot about your
faut relancer une game. Et
behavior up to
là, il y a
this
des
point.
nouvelles fins.
Which, if that's true, well,
Putain,
my
les gars.
goodness,
Ça...
I think we have
Mon
to do
Dieu.
something about it.
Du
This
coup, en gros, en récupérant le
misunderstanding
saut,
could
ben, il
have
y a plusieurs
dire
fins. Comme là.
consequences on the entire
Celle-là,
rest of
là,
the
ici, je
game
suis jamais
if not
passé. Je sais même
addressed
plus où je suis
quickly and
passé.
properly. So
C'est en
much of the
montant, il y avait
impact of the story is
des escaliers en
dependent on
dessous, je
your
suis allé.
understanding
Et
of
là,
what
vu que j'ai
is
le saut
and
maintenant, ça a dû
isn't a
changer la
bucket.
fin.
Please, step in here for a moment.
Qu'est-ce qu'il me fait? Qu'est-ce qu'il... What? What?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test
Mais
scenarios,
what the
and
fuck,
you'll
qu'est-ce
tell
qui
me
se
whether or
passe?
not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1.
Je pense qu'on va faire
Is
juste cette
this
fin
a
et c'est
bucket?
fini, je pense. C'est un saut.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket,
Ah,
not an
mais ça
actual
y est.
bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an
Tu
actual
verras
bucket.
quand je vais faire vrai, faux, il va me dire ah ça c'est un vrai. Voilà, tu verras, je suis certain, mais bon.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Voilà,
Incorrect.
voilà, j'en étais sûr.
This is a bucket.
T'es sûr, frère.
Item
Oui,
4.
c'est un saut.
Is this a bucket?
C'est un saut.
Are you hallucinating? This is a
Mais
tractor. It's an
purée.
enormous machine that tills
Si
the
j'aurais dit
earth.
faux,
I
non,
thought this
il
was a
se
gimmick.
transformait
How
en
on
saut,
earth
je
did
suis
you
sûr et
manage to
certain.
screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
Non, je vais faire non, il va dire oh, c'est fake.
Incorrect.
Allez, j'ai faux.
This is a bucket.
Quoi? Mais c'est un tracteur. Non, je vais tailler. Le jeu.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Je réponds pas.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Oh, c'est les deux. Allez, va te faire voir.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
J'appuie.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Non. Non.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Parce que
was
tout est un
everything a
saut.
bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could...
T'es sûr?
Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Oh, purée. Enfin. Bon, je pense que les gars, on va s'arrêter ici. Oui, bon, vous allez me dire, oui, mais on n'a pas vu les trucs DLC. Les gars, le jeu, il doit faire 1 milliard d'heures de rush. En plus, il y a un trophée qui dit, ne jouez pas 10 ans à Stanley Parable. Est-ce que tu crois que c'est normal qu'il y a eu 8,1% des joueurs qui l'ont eu, le trophée, et qu'il y a un autre trophée qui dit, jouer tout un mardi, il y a 1,75% des gens qui l'ont eu. Il y a eu plus de gens qui ont attendu 10 ans pour jouer au jeu que de gens qui ont joué un mardi entier. Vous vous rendez compte? Enfin, c'est n'importe quoi. Bon, bref, je pense qu'il y aura peut-être une suite ou pas. Le jeu il est long, les gars, aussi. Et moi, perso, je sais qu'il y en a d'autres possibilités. Il y a d'autres possibilités, mais je sais pas quoi d'autre. Enfin, par où passer, par quoi faire et tout. Donc voilà. On va dire qu'on va s'arrêter ici et qu'on rejouera peut-être un jour. Voilà. Donc merci d'avoir regardé et ciao. C'était In Game. Bye bye.
PlayStation